The supposed death of the romantic comedy has been greatly exaggerated by some quarters. In spite of the fact that the genre has lost some of its popularity during the 1990s, new developments show that audiences are still craving banter, meetups, and happy endings. Netflix has hit the jackpot by relying heavily on bubbly comedy about loving young things falling in love. Today, we have listed the top 10 best romantic comedies you should definitely watch or rewatch. Number 10. Sleepless in Seattle, 1993. Come see Nora Ephron's first film as a filmmaker. This odd romantic comedy from 1993, which begins with Tom Hanks mourning the loss of his devoted wife and mother, thanks to a radio show that pays homage to an affair to remember, and a manipulative 8-year-old played with aplomb by Ross Malinger, he eventually finds a second chance at love. Keep a watch out for a young Gabby Hoffman and her pre-iChat vocabulary, as well as Annie's, Meg Ryan's, journalistic diligence in tracking down Mr. Sleepless in Seattle before Google and LexisNexis. Number 9. Broadcast News, 1987. The 7-time Academy Award nominee, written, produced, and directed by James L. Brooks, launched the career of a small-town Southerner named Holly Hunter and predicted the slow decline of American journalism. Broadcast News is, above all, a love tale, a love story between 3 career-driven journalists and the business they like, which entangles them in a painfully sympathetic love triangle that ends in heartbreak for each character. Hunter's character, a TV's news producer, is just as smart and honorable as her best friend, journalist Albert Brooks. Number 8. It Happened One Night, 1934. It Happened One Night, a rom-com made with the production code prohibited scenes of excessive passion, captures love and even lust with little more than an expertly displayed leg, an instantly iconic shirtless Clark Gable, and a road trip plot that has been imitated but never quite matched in the decades since. The chemistry between Gable and Claudette Colbert, who portrays the heiress on the run being pursued by Gable's industrious reporter, is particularly strong in It Happened One Night. It Happened One Night is a masterpiece of the screwball comedy era, when speech was fast and women behaved erratically, but adorably, and it holds up especially well because of the chemistry between Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert. Number 7. Notting Hill, 1999. She was just a girl asking a boy to love her, except she was Julia Roberts, fresh off the success of My Best Friend's Wedding, and he was Hugh Grant, coming off the triumph of Sense and Sensibility. To put it another way, these 2 well-known actors were showing off their already toned muscles. In Notting Hill, a great actress falls in love with a lowly shopkeeper, and the story unfolds like a modern-day fairy tale. The clothes may be out of date, we all had a very humiliating year in 1999, but the appeal remains. All of the meet-cutes, witty companions, and appealing stars with electric chemistry and a flair for hilariously awkward entanglements are present and proper. Number 6. Groundhog Day, 1993. Groundhog Day is the perfect remedy to a hardened heart and the greatest rom-com for cynics who don't like rom-coms. After all, Phil Connors, a weatherman dispatched to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania to cover the pointless annual ritual of a groundhog seeking for its shadow, might be Bill Murray's ideal character. Because he is bored with life, he becomes imprisoned in a time loop in which he is compelled to relive the previous 24 hours. That means his producer, Rita, played with twinkly self-possession by Andy McDowell, rejects him day after day. By diluting each scene, the film gradually increases Phil's sensation of amazement. Number 5. 10 Things I Hate About You, 1999. The mature performances of Julia Stiles and the late, great Heath Ledger, who in separate, equally winning ways personify the agony of being past high school but too young for college, elevate 10 things above high school drama. In some ways, the incredibly juvenile premise, a spin on Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew in which Ledger's character is paid to kill Stiles so that a whole other cast of characters can go out with her younger sister, is simply there to be transcended, as sparks fly between 2 people who had long since given up on this dumb school. Number 4. Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. If you've ever found yourself alone at home with a dangerously large amount of wine and cake belting out all by myself, you'll be right at home with this one. In 2001, the movie Bridget Jones's Diary, starring Renee Zellweger and Colin Firth and Hugh Grant, became an instant blockbuster because to their undeniably British performances. The legacy of blue soap, ugly Christmas sweaters, and embarrassing street battles cannot be erased. In spite of the fact that the sequels fell short of the original's promise, Bridget chases Mr. Darcy down a snowy London street in nothing but sneakers, a jacket, and zebra-print panties, making it impossible to imagine a more absurd, uniquely rom-com climax. Number 3. Clueless, 1995. In adapting Jane Austen's Emma about a cunning matchmaker who is surprised by her own romance for mid-90s adolescents, Amy Heckerling invented her own vocabulary. Cher Horowitz attracts Baldwin's monettes and cake boys because she is a shallow Beverly Hills princess with hidden depth played superbly by Alicia Silverstone in a generation-defining performance. Regina George would not exist if it weren't for Cher. With a beautiful Paul Rudd as a slightly problematic love interest, Heckerling's cosmos is bright and funny, but also intelligent. In this day of Instagram celebrities, Clueless' satire and reverence of adolescent culture may seem outdated, but it nonetheless stands tall in its platform sneakers as one of the genre's best. Number 2. You've Got Mail, 1998. Joe Fox and Kathleen Kelly live and work on the Upper West Side of New York City, just a few blocks apart. They shop at the same bars, get their coffee at the same Starbucks, and walk down the same picturesque streets. Patricia Eden, a clever and hyperactive book editor, is Joe's roommate. Kathleen is married to Frank Nowosky, a passionate and erudite newspaper columnist. Each believes that life and love are enough, until they meet in an internet chat room and begin exchanging emails. You've Got Mail's appeal is as old as love, and as new as the internet. It stars Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan as two charmingly lovable people whose sole mission is to demonstrate their adorability for 2 hours, while we wait for them to fix their problems, fall into each other's arms, and get down to the rumpy-pumpy. Number 1. When Harry Met Sally, 1989. This film marked the beginning of Nora Ephron's rom-com career. Meg Ryan's title as America's Sweetheart was confirmed. It was the gold standard for the next decade, and Hollywood tried to imitate it. When Harry Met Sally, with all its talky, charming smartness, felt revolutionary when it was released in 1989, and it still feels innovative today, partially because it carefully examines the central question posed at the outset. Can straight men and women truly be just friends? The film's stark gender boundaries, as well as Sally's obsession with marriage, feel a little out of date in 2018, but it remains a near-perfect portrayal of the genre. Comedy is one of the most versatile film and television genres. Comedy may enliven a scene, reveal a lot about a character's attitude, and even aid in the endurance of lengthy expository explanations and speeches. Comedy is one of the most difficult genres to pull off, and it's also one of the most dangerous to pitch or develop. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Share in the comments below which of these rom-com movies will you watch on your next movie night. Do not forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in our next video.